你们年轻人会弄，我们弄不了。
At entrance of the village, there is a stone archway, the paifang. It's very typical to this region.
水波聚财，然后雕了是梅花，梅花香自苦寒来。你看。
Good morning YouTube, this is Yan, welcome to the channel, and in this season I will be traveling to every single province in mainland China, and today I am in Shexian. When I speak of Shexian, you may know that in the past time, in the Ming and Qing dynasty, there are two governor seats, one in Anqing and the other in the southern Huizhou district. And Shexian is the place where this government located. So it's a center area of Hui culture. So today we're going to visit Shexian as well as some of the historical sites. But before, let me introduce you this small village. This is where my grandma from my father's side live. Today it's very foggy, so you couldn't see very far, but you can see that those are the typical Hui architecture with the white wall and the black brick, black tile roof. And also they are quite new. Most of them, most of the old houses were replaced by the modern new buildings. And there are very few young people in the village. Most of the young people are working outside in big cities. So here, this morning they are killing the pig. It's near the spring festival, so they're preparing meat for the next year. Another thing is we speak a different dialect, which I don't understand at all. So every time when I come back, I have a little bit problem communicating with everyone. There are some paintings on the wall teaching you how to have a good life. For example, go out, open your eyes, travel, take care of the old people. And like many of the village in Huizhou area, the roads are very narrow because there isn't enough land. So the houses, they're often very high. You can still find some of the traditional elements. This is another historical house. Wow, it's all abandoned, but it's quite a big house. Look at this. There are a lot of abandoned historical buildings in Hui district because people are leaving the countryside. They prefer modern houses in the big cities. Here, this small basket, this is what they used for. It's their small fireplace hold in their hand during cold winter. They put some burning coal inside and take this basket wherever they go. They can also put some food on top of this basket to warm up the food. This is a shop that makes coffins. At entrance of the village, there is a stone archway, the paifang. It's very typical to this region, and you can see the same or similar archway in many villages in Huizhou. The archway is also a symbol of Chinese culture because in many other places where it has been influenced by Chinese culture, you can see the archway of different materials of different shape. For example, in Japan, Korea, Malaysia, or in many China towns in other countries. Shexian, it was firstly established as a county back in Qing Dynasty. That is about more than 2,200 years old. And then later in Tang Dynasty, it was Shezhou, and then in Beisong Dynasty, it was Huizhou. So it has been the governor's seat of this region for a very, very long time. Nowadays, it's only a small county, but back then, back in history, it used to be the cultural, economic, and political center of this whole region, and it was very, very prosperous. And Shexian has perhaps China's most stone archways. Historically, there used to be more than 140, and now more than 80 still left. And it's easy to see them because they're scattered all over the city. After driving for about 20 minutes, here I am in Tangyue, the famous archways on the other side, but here it's also a traditional village. So let's go in and have a look. So again, you see this big water bucket. There are lots of paintings, traditional paintings, 山水画. Here are the old artifacts. Those are used for making cakes. And on this side, there are some porcelain, some traditional dishes. Those are the wooden carvings and painted in gold. You know, there are very few windows on the door on the traditional dwelling, so it's very dark inside. The staircases are very narrow and very steep too. So let's go to the second floor and have a look. There is a bed, so I guess maybe someone who take care of this house still live here occasionally. But you see, it's very simple. There are three main elements in Hui architecture: the ancestral halls, the stone archway, and the traditional dwellings. The stone archway, it's a symbol of honor given by the emperor or by the government in a feudal society. So Bao's family has received 7 of them in a row from Ming to Qing Dynasty. It's a result of the effort by generations. Behind each archway, there is a story, there is a person, and they are built to memorize the good qualities demonstrated by the person. They are used to memorize the qualities of 忠孝节义, which means loyalty, piety, chastity, and righteousness, full of the honored qualities in the feudal society. This archway was built to praise the wife of Bao Wenling. When he died, his wife is only 25. She never remarried again. She had been bringing up the parents-in-law as well as the kids. And in a feudal society, this is considered to be a big virtue, although it might sound quite absurd in modern society. Ancestral halls, they are the most important public space in the feudal society. It's a place where family members get together, discuss big or small things, and also to worship the ancestors. Here on the wall, in that stone, it is carved a regulation of the Bao family, and also in the past Chinese, it's written from top down. and you read like that, it's very different from the Chinese in modern times. And there are some interesting regulations. For example, there it's written, 一妇人打街骂巷不守规法者，停级1年。改过次年再给. It means that if a woman in a family doesn't obey the rules, she cursed someone on the street, and the family will stop giving her money until she corrects herself. She will receive the money from next year on. So in the past, those family regulation, it's a very important principle for the family members to behave themselves. In a feudal society, women has a very low social status, and they are often not allowed to enter the temple, or we call the 祠堂, the ancestral halls. So this one is the 男子. But what's interesting about Tangyue is that here there is also an ancestral hall, a temple for the women. This is the only ancestral hall for the females. Now it's a museum, and also you can see those small replicas of the stone archways. The preservation of historical sites is, especially the architecture, it's very difficult because in China many of the houses are built with wood. It's easy to catch a fire, and also look at this one, it's eaten by the insects. So it's very, very costly to maintain those historical buildings, but it's worth it because it's part of our history, of our culture. Without tourists, Doushanjie, it's very quiet. And here there is another archway, but differently, this one is made of bricks, and it is built into the wall. This one is made of wood. It's a bit rotten, and you can barely recognize the words on the top. And similar to the archway before, this one is also for the woman to praise their chastity. Because of COVID, many of the shops are closed at the moment, so it used to be very crowded, and I hope that next year things would be back to normal. In my previous episode, I've shown you how Shan paper is made, and here there are two other treasures of the study room, the ink as well as the ink stones. It's all made in Shexian. Unfortunately, I've been to the factory. They said it's COVID and it's not good for filming, but I found this shop, and here you can see those ink stones and the ink.
歙县歙业徽墨之都，歙业之乡。
老板，你是课歙县的？
我是兄课。
哦。
但是我了解也比较多一点，因为你要懂这个原理，你才会卖呀。这个呢是传统叶，传统的，雕的是荷花。荷花呢就是一个是家和万事兴啊，另外荷出污泥而不染啊。这种是麝红。这个
麝红就是上面会带有一点点不同颜色的，
有彩色的一样的那个有。然后这个叫麝青，然后这种呢是宋叶，以前京津港考就这种。这种呢就是水波纹，水波纹的。
啊，这上面有这种纹路的。
水的波浪哈，水波聚财，然后雕了是梅花。梅花香自苦寒来。你看这个水波很明显，水的波浪啊。
Those are the ink that is made of the smoke dust from the pine trees.
它也是一个国家的一个保密配方。 这个呢是目前中国最好的，徽墨是做好最好老胡开文墨厂。等于讲是其他地方呢有叫，就是胡开文墨厂的，只有这一家呢是叫老胡开文墨厂。
And let me show you how to use this ink stone. This is the ink, and this is the ink stone. So if you want to make ink, you have to pour some water into it, and then you grind this ink in order to get the ink that you use to write calligraphy or Chinese 山水 painting. 老板，你们家做那个设砚做多久了呀？
那又做了几十年了吧。我的师兄啊、师傅他们，歙县这个地方的文化底蕴还是很好。
对，
历史都传承下来了。现在写画画的、写字的人还是比较多的。
对，
小朋友现在也有好多写的。
对。
因为一旦写毛笔字之后，你心就静。对，心静，做什么事情都会好，不会人云亦云，跟着人家的思维跑，对吧？对，这就是写毛笔字的好处。
And also, as I was walking down the street, I've seen lots of shops that are mounting the calligraphy or paintings. And as a historical city, there is a long tradition. People are really fond of calligraphy, and they are fond of 山水 paintings.
是我师兄的字。
哇，写得这么好！
师兄很厉害。
哇！
他写的毛主席的那个重阳。
哇！
人生易老，天难老，岁岁重阳，今又重阳。暂抵黄花风外香，一年一度秋风劲，不是春光胜似春光。
Traditionally, one of the most important things in the city is the water source, the well. And this well was built in Tang Dynasty, 1,400 years old. And still people take water from here. There is another old well here, and the edge, it becomes uneven. Perhaps some people sharpen their knives here. This is the busiest commercial area in Shexian. Those houses, they look a little bit fake because most of them are newly constructed. But this one is real, and it's also one of the most precious archways, and the only archway in China that has 8 foot. And under each foot there are big and small lions. This archway was made for Xu Guo. He was a high official back in the Ming Dynasty. On top of the archway is written 大学士 and 少保兼太子太保礼部尚书武英殿大学士许国. So he has a really long title, and this also means that he held a very important position back in the Ming Dynasty.
这孩子还了，来不及啊！妈包好了，这个不急，买进去又方便。
Traditional Chinese cities often follow a very similar pattern. The city is protected by high walls, and there are gates open on 4 different directions. And here, this is one of the gates, and this is called Qiaolou, which means the watchtower, and it has a defensive purpose. There is another Qiaolou over there. And also here, this is the governor's seat, the government office of the huizhou. But this was a completely new replica of the original ones. Next to the main gate, there is a small fortification called Wengcheng. It's another important element in traditional Chinese city design. If you look at it from the top, it's like a small cage. And this is a defensive structure. So when the invaders take the side way and go from here, they will be trapped in this little cage. And the soldiers can easily attack from the top. At this street shop, I want to introduce one of the most interesting food in Huizhou district. That is Mao Doufu. This tofu with a lot of hair, and those are the soybeans. So this tofu, it's fermented in a room with a lot of steams, and those are the wooden boxes that is where they rest all the tofu to get this kind of texture and this kind of fungus on top. And this is another type of special food snack in the region. The 梅干菜。
哦，你跟他讲话，我以为跟我讲。
老板，你是这边的人吗？
我是这边的。
你是这边的人是吗？这个多少钱一个呀？4
块。
啊，帮我拿一个吧。
给你加热啊。
好的。
那个是石头。
老板，这个饼也是用这个石头压的吗？
要是这个放到锅里是压一下，切一下啊。
嗯，帮我切一下吧。They have some more good food. Those are the 烧饼, like the small cake cooked in a big stove. And also this fermented tofu curd. It's also one of the specialties in the region. This is the 梅干菜烧饼. Inside it's pork and some dried vegetables. It's a little bit sweet, and often it's in a square shape. 我拿走了哈。好好好，谢谢啊。So here I've just grabbed a special food of Shexian City. It's called 果。老板，这个是用什么做的呀？
里面是雪菜、黄豆粉肉。
黄豆粉肉是吧？
雪菜，
雪菜
在一起。你在外国读书的？
对。
哎呦，那是厉害。
我给他们介绍一下歙县。
好。哈哈，哎呦，你们真有本事。你是哪里人呢？
我爸爸是歙县的。哦。我在安徽宣城那边。
哦，那是听不懂。我在宣城哦。对。那你讲不来，那是。我们歙县话你肯定听不懂。每个老地咖喱不一样哎。俺家咖是吃饭。有的来的是不是咖吃饭。南上那边还听不来。地咖那个话你南上来。
这个是大一点的果吗？
大一点的，这个是豇豆的呢，这种是长干豆的。啊，哎，
这个是什么呀？
这个是梅干菜加肉。啊，
梅干菜加肉的。对，然后那个就是黄豆粉的，那个是最经典的。
经典的，对。这些我们石头果就最经典的。
旁边的是猪油哎。
对。
谢谢老板。没事。This is 果, the specialty in Shexian province. Costs only 2.5 yuan. Inside it's the soya bean flour and some pickled vegetables. Not very far from the old city, here is Yuliang Dam, and also the last place I want to show you. And we know that Huizhou is prosperous because of Hui merchants, and here is a place where the dream of the Hui merchants start. Back hundreds of years ago, the road traffic was not very well connected, so waterways of extreme importance, and this is a place where the Hui merchants take the boat downstream all the way to Hangzhou, and from there they start doing business all over in eastern part of China. So therefore this place is of historical importance. The design of Yuliang Dam is quite clever. The big stones there combined together by using a wedge stone like that. So maybe it's not a big deal right now, but think about it. It was firstly constructed in Tang Dynasty. That is about 1,400 years ago. So by then, it's a huge achievement. So this is the end of today's episode. I hope you enjoy the beautiful Shexian. And if you are interested in China, please keep an eye on my channel because I'm traveling to every single province in mainland China. Thanks for watching and see you next time.